What's up, guys? In the works, and yes, this is footage from last night's fan event, and if you didn't get a chance to get in, I apologize. We tried our best to cycle through people. I know a lot of people were upset that they waited so long and only got to play one game. Guys, we were doing that because there were just so many people. But if you're a PC guy, don't click away, don't dislike just because it's console footage, because we're going to be talking about a pretty interesting topic today, and that is the transition from console to PC and vice versa. Because if there's one question I get a lot, it's what was it like to go from console to PC? And I've mentioned this in videos, you know, I've done videos on, I think I did a Don't Revive Me Bro video about the transition. And I wanted to talk a little bit about it on my channel, you know, get a little bit more in depth about it. And the first tip I'm going to give you guys, if you're thinking about making the transition, don't go overboard on components. A lot of you guys email me, you know, you send me YouTube messages asking about my components, asking what components you think I should get. Or you should get, that is. But really, guys, you shouldn't go overboard. One of the biggest mistakes a new PC guy will do is they'll go out and they'll buy a $2,000, $3,000 PC. You know, they find out that they don't really like it, and then they end up selling it for about a third of what they paid for it. And that's something it sounds ridiculous, but people do that. If you look at Craigslist right now, I bet you can find 5 or 6 gaming PCs that are brand new, and the person's selling it for way less than what it's worth. So that's another option if you're wanting to get into it, because a lot of people, they spend more than they really should. So buy the components that you know are reasonable, that are going to be moderately priced, and run Battlefield 3, because it doesn't take a lot to run Battlefield 3. I know a lot of people are like, oh, you got to have top of the line. Yeah, if you want to run it on Ultra at 1080 or even a higher resolution than that, it's going to take a good graphics card. And you know, I might be speaking out of my butt here because I do have a good graphics card, and I had a 6870 before that, and they were both solid cards. So the 6870, the ATI, you can find that for fairly cheap. I mean, you're not going to break the bank if you go with that card. That's the card I had for the majority of my Battlefield 3 career. As you guys know, I upgraded recently to the 600 series NVIDIA cards. But that card worked really well, so that's a good entry-level card. I mean, it can run Battlefield 3 in 1080 on, you know, medium to high with no problem. I mean, if you want to record, you might want to think about running in low, so don't go overboard on components. Now, aiming is definitely going to be the hardest transition. It's not so much the lateral movements with the keyboards, because I'm assuming most of you guys have grown up with, you know, computers in your life. And as far as the keyboard goes, I don't think a lot of you guys will struggle with that. If you've typed a lot in your life, you're going to transition really easily into that portion. Now, the aiming with the mouse, that's where things get tricky. It's the hand-eye coordination. It takes a couple months to develop that, so don't expect to go into it and, you know, destroy the world with your aiming, because it's not going to happen. In fact, I still struggle at times aiming because I took 2 or 3 years off from PC gaming. I played primarily console for the last 2 years. When I started my YouTube channel, I did play some PC from the start. I played Sniper Ghost Warrior. That was a PC game. So, I mean, there were some transition periods. You know, I mainly played on console for Black Ops. I mainly played Battlefield 3 on console when I first started. So aim will come, guys. That's the last thing that comes. Now, your knowledge of the maps, your experiences within Battlefield 3 are going to really play almost the same on console and PC, because it's the same game. There's really no difference. I've noticed that some weapons, to me, work much better on console than they do on PC. If you don't believe me, try out the G36 on Xbox and then try it out on PC. You'll notice that it seems to be a lot better on Xbox. I don't know if that's because of auto aim, but the weapon just works much more fluidly. The opposite, though, is true with the ACR. The ACR seems to be not as good on Xbox as it is, as you see me using it right now, as it is on the PC. The same with the AEK. So I don't know if the high fire rate weapons seem to not work as well on the console. That might be placebo. That might be because I was a little rusty. But the transition back to console, to me, was a lot easier than my initial transition. I mean, granted, I have hundreds of hours played on Battlefield 3 on console, so that's probably one of the reasons behind that, but I also hadn't played console in months. I mean, it had been a really long time since I had picked up the controller, so it's definitely easier to transfer back. I mean, if you think that if you don't use it, you'll lose it, it's definitely true to a certain extent when you're playing on this. But overall, like I said, pick your components smartly. Don't worry about your aim right out of the gate. It's going to come with time. I know if you guys are fans of Shushty Bang, Fake Thriller is transitioning to playing on PC, and he's definitely experiencing some growing pains. So I think he is a prime example of knowing how the game plays, but you know, it's just the aim. The aim is what comes last, and that's something that you just have to be patient about. Eventually, you know, your knowledge of Battlefield 3 will pay off, and you will find yourself getting good scores. But it's definitely worth it. Do I think that console is better than PC, PC better than console? No, they're both the same, guys. I mean, you play with what you have. Don't feel like you should feel ashamed for playing on console. I see a lot of people in the comments saying, oh, I wish I had a gaming PC. Oh, I wish I could play on PC because console sucks. It doesn't suck, guys. I mean, you play with what you have. You know, you experience the game how you what is placed in front of you. I mean, it is what you make of it. I will say that the PC looks prettier, it plays more fluid, it's more faster paced, so that's another thing that you have to keep in mind when you're moving to the PC, that the gameplay is much more faster paced because there are more people. You know, they're a lot more accurate with their shots because people that have played on PC for a while have really deadly aim. So one of the hardest transitions is the speed. So once you get past that, once you get your aim there, you'll have a good time on PC. But never fear, if you're a console guy, don't feel like I'm saying it sucks. It does not. You know, like I said, I played on console for the better part of 100+ hours, and it was a fun experience. Would I go back to it? Probably not, because I do have it on PC. But that's not to say that the experience on console is poor. So I want to take this opportunity to thank you guys for all the support recently. I know we've had our ups and downs, but it was a lot of fun doing those open lobbies. Even on the PC, I had a lot of fun on the PC, a lot of fun on Xbox. I will do this again later. Maybe we'll do it for like a special milestone number on subs or something like that, because it was a lot of fun. But hope you guys enjoyed this quick video. You know, some console footage for a change, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.